Hello! Hello, everybody! It's Friday.
I don't know why I'm laughing.
It's Friday, March 27th.
Possibly.
I think, because it's a little confusing about what day it is right now, isn't it? I'm pretty sure that it's Friday, pretty sure that it's March 27th, and Josie's here with me today, and we're doing the Josie and Amy show. So we're going to have a little bit of fun, but we're also going to talk about something kind of serious, and why we're going to talk about it and what we can do in the coming days to actually do something about it and lend a hand, whichever. And for some reason, hello, if you're on, say hey.
Hey.
For some reason, Facebook is not playing nice in the horizontal positioning with video, so we're all cozy this way. Otherwise, it makes our head go all the way across the room. And can you see the little hearts we have on our thing? Feel free to throw some hearts up if you are been watching all the heart things and share your world of hearts, right? Okay, so first of all, how old are you, Josie?
10.
10 years old. And here's what I wanted to talk about today. I posted something earlier, and this is something I have been doing some research on recently, and it's just devastating to me. So, according to the CDC, the second leading cause of death.
What's the CDC?
The CDC, good questions. And this is why Josie is here, because this involves kids and it's important to her. So it's the Centers for Disease Control, and they really track a lot of important information. So according to the Centers for Disease Control, the second leading cause of death for kids ages 10 to 14 in the United States is suicide. And that is devastating to me, because I have two daughters and they are 10 and 12. Yeah, so that's kind of devastating to me, and there's a lot more information on that.
What does like devastating mean?
It makes me sad. It really hurts my heart, and it kind of makes me want to stand up and take notice as a parent, because I work with adults on a lot of these things, or I have been, but it's also been important for me to teach my kids how to handle things. But it's scary. It's a scary thing if you're a parent and you see that and your child might be struggling. So I want you to help me teach things to kids from a kid's perspective.
I'm just looking
Yeah.
at my brown cheek.
You guys, so hey Michelle, so we need to talk about that. So this morning I actually was telling Josie that statistic, and we had to discuss what the word suicide even meant, and we don't like to talk about it, but it's still a reality. So what we're going to be doing, because along with the fact that suicide is the second leading cause of death for kids ages 10 to 14,
But
you know, go
so
ahead.
like there's like the first leading one, and then like
And
the
the
second
second.
most thing that people
Yes.
do to like.
That takes the lives of kids that age. So that's pretty crazy, and that's pretty amazing. I think we need to stand up and take notice as parents, you know, and as a community for sure. And here's the thing, right? We've all seen suicide hotlines out there. They're readily accessible, and they're very prevalent, and they're a much needed commodity. But despite having those, from like 2001 to 2017, suicide rates have increased by 31%. So even though we have stuff to help that, it continues to rise. So obviously we need to be doing something different. And those, you know, suicide hotlines are great and definitely needed and serve that purpose, but they're only helping kids when they're really in an extreme crisis, right? When they're really on the edge of feeling so desperate. And then they only help them if they have the clarity of mind in that state to be able to use them, right? So what we need to do really is be proactive and take an interruption versus an intervention approach, and be teaching kids about how to increase their self-awareness and emotional intelligence, and use tools and systems to be able to build up our mental resilience to be able to handle those things so we don't get to that point, right? So we're going to be doing some things, and I think we're going to incorporate this show in a lot of the things that we teach in Brian and Carrie's show, our mindset experts, and we're going to take that and put it from a kid's perspective so that you can help teach your kids about that, right? More hearts, yay! I can't really read that, so you'll have to read it for me.
Ladies, that's a crazy statistic.
Oh, hey, Michelle. Statistic.
I said it in my head.
I know, it is. It's crazy. It's really crazy. So today we're going to be just talk just a little bit about feelings, because here's another thing. Here's another thing is that what happens, actually, they recommend all kids get screened because most of the time, depression isn't really even recognized by parents, teachers, and doctors. The symptoms, those symptoms are different, and they're not recognized that way. Sometimes they, you're adorable. Maybe she was talking to me.
No, me.
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. They're not recognized, right? We think depression is one thing, but a lot of times, kids, we think they're being lazy or they're acting out, and it's really about other things, and that's how it presents. So let's just talk about like bad days and stuff really quick, and the things that we do, and then we'll just probably be doing this show maybe daily. We'll see what happens, and we'll talk about.
Me act out sometimes and like get mad at other people.
Yeah.
Is my best friend is like has lots of stuff going on at home, and she wants, like, it feels like to me that she wants other people to feel her anger, so she takes it out on me and her other friends and starts ignoring us, and then off and on ignores us and is friends with us. And she'll be like friends with one of my friends, we have like a group of 4, she'll be friends with 2 of the friends and like leave me out, or she'll be friends with 2 of the friends and leave somebody else out. And like that. She won't, and there's like often, it's not too often that we're all together.
That we're all communicating together and all being able to be friends. Okay, and so this is a real thing, right? That kids are dealing with in school every day. Hey, Dawn. Yeah, it's a real thing, right? That kids are dealing with all the time, and we maybe don't recognize it. So I love that you said that's something that makes you act out. And this is something that we've been recognizing, for a while. Yeah. So I would think, why is Josie being snotty and disrespectful to me sometimes?
Because last year, I sat on my bed crying for like 30 minutes because my best friend was ignoring me, and she'd be like this to me. But after that, I realized people said she was like me, and she was like, I don't want to be like you, but then she was like, no offense. So then I kind of got that, like, I got why she was doing that kind of.
And it's interesting.
Like, I don't want to be like you, but no offense.
And that's okay. It's okay for us all to be different, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, sometimes it's been
and
where...
that was when I was gone from school for a week.
For a long time.
Yeah.
And then they maybe felt left out because they didn't have you,
and it was
your
hard
best
because
friend.
both of my friends hated each other. So I had to like go off and on, and when I was friends with one of my friends, the other friend hated me, but when I was friends with that friend, the other friend didn't hate me. She just went off with a different friend for then. But yeah.
And so these are things that kids are dealing with. Let me tell you, as a mom of 2 girls, lots of my friends, when they started dealing with problems with their friends at school, that a lot of my friends who had older daughters said this is just the beginning, that there's a lot of that. And so sometimes they're dealing with a lot of that at school. But what I would see here is Josie, who's normally very sweet, very respectful, very kind, very helpful, was being maybe not as respectful, being a little more disrespectful, being very short and displaying more anger and being rude.
I never thought like that could actually make me do it. I thought like I could control me being rude after that, but I just acted out, and like I thought I could control that and like keep that stuff like at school and not bring it home. But like I thought I could control that, but I couldn't.
Yeah, and it's a practice, right, to work at, and you have to recognize it first. So she doesn't recognize it, and guys, we as adults do the same thing, right? So if there are adults on here, adults do the same thing.
I know I'm gonna do it, so I just try to suck it up and just do it.
Yeah. So that's just kind of a little tip for today, is recognizing that the actions that come from our kids sometimes are something completely different. You're stuck sitting there. So yeah, we'll get off. Yeah. Hey guys, thanks for being here. So that's our little tip for today, is like just being aware of how things can be affecting your kids and how you might be seeing it presenting around you, where you think, why is my child being naughty or whatever. A lot of times we've worked through this and we practice this at home, so that instead of me wanting to set discipline or something, not that you can't have discipline, but recognizing like what's the reason for the behavior, right? So as we continue to teach on this, most days we're going to talk about different things and how to manage through this and build the emotional intelligence in our kids and build the self-awareness so that they can actually regulate those actions and behaviors. Like you said, you couldn't feel like you can control it, and you don't even realize why you're doing it. We as adults have the same thing, but it's not like her.
Like off and on, I'm like, oh, I really don't want to do this. And I'm like, I really want to help. And yeah, I can definitely say the worst day of my life.
You had a rough days. So communication is important for sure, right? And so that's something that's important for me, is for us to be able to talk and her to feel safe, right? One of the other things is making it safe to have conversations where we can both not be right or be able to express things that maybe we don't like, but are able to discuss them. So understanding that how the behavior, what is driving the behavior, right? Or the actions, we need to get to the root of that. And also we can't do that if we're not able to communicate and teach that. So hopefully this made some sense. If it did make some sense, drop a comment, if it did make sense, or if you have questions or your thoughts on any of this, or if you've seen this in your own kids or other people's kids, or on either side.
How I would explain it is feeling like the whole world hates you, because when the day I broke my arm, my best friend hated me, and there was like this tractor pull in Leonard, and it was like a once a year thing, and I couldn't do anything there because I had a broken arm, and I felt like the whole world hated me.
I love that you made that point. Because I think most of us, when we're having a really good day, we know that the whole world doesn't hate us, and we know that that's not the case. But when we're not having a really great day, our mind is going to tell us things like that. And I can guarantee that your best friend doesn't hate you.
Yeah,
but it feels like that, right?
It felt like everything was going wrong.
And I think all of us can relate to having days like that, where it feels like everything's going wrong and everything's against you. And what we want to be able to do is be able to manage that and understand and get through those times so that they don't build up, right? Mm-hmm. Do you feel like the whole world hates you today? No.
I feel good.
Yeah. I like to call it bulletproof. I like to build myself up as bulletproof. So even when it feels like everything is going wrong, that we've got the stuff to be able to do that. Can you just read that? Totally relate. Yeah, thank you, right? And so I think it's important to be able to open those conversations and have that. So we're going to do more of these, chatting about it, and we're probably going to be watching and actually talking about like Brian and Carrie in the morning shows and how that can go through from a kid's perspective, and how you can use that to work with your kids in this space, because these numbers are totally unacceptable in my eyes, and we got to take care of it ourselves and our future generation. So,
and what I have is like sometimes when like I have hard things going on, sometimes I just talk it out to my most prized possession, which is my unicorn. I'll grab it. I got it for Christmas, and it's like helped me. I got it for Christmas when I was 9, I think.
I think so.
It's helped me through many times. Her name is Missy, and I just sometimes just hold it or I talk to it. And sometimes to me that sounds stupid, but it helps me through things.
That's beautiful. If it helps you through things, that's what's important, right? It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks as long as it helps you through things, right? And finding ways that make you feel better.
Some other people have things like
that. They do. Yeah, some other people might have.
Like my other friend Molly, she has a toy dog that helps her, like a stuffed animal dog that is like really special to her. And
our pets sometimes, a good friend, a teacher, a parent, anything.
I sometimes come home from school and be like, I don't have like a friend at school that I can like always be friends with and talk to, and they won't laugh at me, and I can just do everything with them and they won't laugh at me. But none of my friends are like that. I can't tell them everything without laughing at me, without them laughing
without feeling
at me.
that they're gonna laugh at you.
Yeah, and like they're not my friends all the time.
That really close
and they're not
thing.
Very supportive.
Sometimes you gotta have, and so guys, our kids may be dealing with that.
Yeah,
right?
I've just been like thinking about it every time I come home, like who could be a good friend like that, but I don't know anybody who could be a friend like that.
It takes practice. And so then what do you do when you feel like that?
I just try to use the friends I have, and I was like every time after my best friend ignores me, I hope it never happens again and she changes, but it's never been like that.
Do you feel like you can talk to anybody about that?
Do
we ever talk about that? Yeah. And I can't change it, but being able to talk about it, it makes you sad talking about it right now, and I don't want you to be sad, but it's okay to be sad, and it's important to be able to do this. You can read what Michelle said for me.
That's amazing. Love it. I talk to my kitties.
Yes, the pets. I love it. I love it, Michelle. And I want to say thank you to Josie today for being so vulnerable to talk about this, because I didn't tell her what we were. I just said I want to talk about these things. So if you're just jumping on, we're about to get off. Hey, so you'll have to go back and watch from the beginning. And share this if you think it will help with someone. If you want to be involved in stuff, we're going to be doing this a lot in the future. And again, I want to say thank you to Josie for being able to be completely open.
Yeah, it was kind of hard not to like start crying.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, because you can feel those emotions as you talk about them, but you feel safe enough to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's important to create a safe space for that. So
like, I feel like I wish my best friend that ignores me was more like her mom, because I feel like if her mom was a kid, I'd rather be her friend, because I feel like she's more supportive than her daughter.
Well, and as kids, let's just say this, right? As kids, we're all learning, right? And this is why this is so important. A lot of times we don't understand how we affect other people, and as kids, we're still learning about so many things, as adults too. But especially kids, and that's why this is so important, because sometimes we don't realize how we're affecting others either, and that's why this is so important, and why we're going to be talking about it and using your perspective to help. So I'm glad for the friends that you do have, and especially right now, right? That was the other thing I wanted to make, especially right now. There's times of so much transition.
I think actually,
mental health is important.
Molly, as one of my other friends, not part of my group, I think she's probably the bestest friend I have.
Aww.
But like,
thank you, Molly. But
I don't want to be rude, but sometimes I feel like she overreacts a little bit, but I don't.
You should probably not.
I don't want to be rude.
We don't want to call anybody out. Everybody has different things.
I don't want to be rude, but like,
yeah.
Whenever like sometimes people start ignoring me, I'm like, what did I do wrong? I don't know what I did to deserve this.
Yeah. Wow, you opened up a lot today. And I think it's important then, guys, to see, right? A lot of times our kids aren't talking about this. And if they're not talking about it and they're just burying it, right, we're not finding ways to work through it, right, and build that self-awareness and build the self-esteem and the tools to work through it so it didn't get us. Oh, and what else is good always? Hugs. Hugs, right, are always good along with other things. So we're going to be talking about the tools to use, right, in the coming days. You okay? Yeah, so just look at the emotion it brings up just talking about some of the things that we go through.
I feel that my teachers are very supportive of me.
Oh, yes. Shout out to the teachers. Thank you for the teachers and the counselors at school and helping this. And yeah, it's a big transition time. And so there's a lot of uncertainty with everything, and parents and kids, and what we do, you know, our kids see and feel the same things. So we want to be supporting everyone during this time to make it easy and where people have a place to share that and talk and feel connected in our space with our mental health and our emotional health, and building up tools and things that we can do for that. So I'm looking forward to that. You? Yeah. How do you feel? Do you feel good about being able to have shared? Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for stopping in. Feel free to share any comments. We'd love to hear what you think, or questions that you have, or thoughts. And thanks again to Josie for being so open and being willing to share. So much love to all of you. We are all in this life together, not just this, but...
And we'll see you next time on the Josie
and Amy
Show. Bye.